went down to penalties when Montiel conceded one. Mbappe didn't make a mistake from the spot. Then in penalties, Messi scoring, Mbappe scoring. And then finally, Montiel's winning penalty to take Argentina to their third World Cup title. Lionel Messi is finally a world champion. The trophy cabinet is now complete as I welcome you all back to Visa Match Centre Live in the company of Sol Campbell, Wayne Rooney, Gilberto Silva and Sembra Hunter. So you asked for it, you've spent a month here now.
Yes.
You just have to wait for the last day to give us the ultimate thriller.
It certainly lived up to his bill, but you know, it's fitting now. Messi has that last big trophy he's been waiting for. Cements himself, you know, in history. And I'm sure now Argentina, you know, as a nation, I'm extremely proud. I'm sure that Buenos Aires, they're jumping up and down and cheering, and there's a parties on for 2 weeks maybe. But what a wonderful tournament he's had, and from the first game against Saudi Arabia when they lost, they've been unbelievable. And you know, they started a great game today and kept it going. But there's a lot of drama. In the end, they came on top.
Lionel Messi has kept his eye on the prize for many, many years now. He came close in 2014 when they fell short against Germany. He had another opportunity in the final tonight, but this time he didn't miss on that opportunity. Having said that, of course, he's played now more than 1,000 games, Raza. There's been this ongoing debate now forever about whether he is the greatest of all time or not. So many of his critics wanted to say it would fall on what would happen in this World Cup, if he would win it or not. Surely now we can maybe put to bed this debate.
For me, there's no doubt. I think he's, you know, the career he's had, the goals he's scored, the goals he's created, the trophies he's won, and for me, whether he won the World Cup or not, he was the greatest player of all time, and I'm sure now a lot of people will judge him now because he's won this and say, yeah, he probably is the greatest player of all time, but I think he's a special player, and I don't think you'll see like him again. And just like I say, it's great to see Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, he really appears to be the best drummer in the world.
Obviously, having to retire from football early and get to celebrate with his former teammates, it's great to see as well.
Yeah, so obviously a couple of Lionels, right? The other Spaloni now who hugs it out with him to obviously end that 28-year wait for a trophy when they won the Copa America, then the Finalissimo, and then of course the 36-match unbeaten run came. But after that Saudi Arabia loss, to do it at the same venue and to win the final, what would it mean to not just this Lionel but the other one?
Well, obviously they've had a great run, had a blip against Saudi Arabia. But the management now, I think for me, the way they are going about their business has been incredible. He's managed it well. I mean, he could easily kind of, gone the other way after Saudi Arabia, but the manager's kept it tight, kept them focused, and kept them on track as well. So, yeah, it's hats off to the management as well.
Obviously, this must mean a lot, I would imagine, for South American heroes usually, because the last time the South American nation was able to win the World Cup, it was Brazil. It was your home nation, of course. So I can only imagine what people across the continent might be feeling, even though, of course, there is a very heated rivalry between Argentina and Brazil.
Oh, it's I think it's great for South America because just before the World Cup starts, Mbappe made a comment about the difficulties from the between South Americans and Europeans.
And Messi took it personally.
I think it's about to show that even though we are, let's say, less teams in South America, but we are there with a full of passion to work hard to drive ourselves for the glory, despite the difficulties we face. Of course, when you compare Europe with South America, there is a lot of gap, economic gap, education, many other aspects. For us, football means so much. People don't really understand so much, For example, when the Brazilians dance, when they play with full of passion, sometimes tackling. Because in our history, we know exactly what we have been through growing up, playing football on the streets, and to go to this stage, and when you are there, it is do or die. There is no other option, because it's not only for us, but for our nation. And it's how we see, the passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has become a very famous song as well with the Argentinian fans. Messi and Maradona both get to mention this. But just so before we head to the presentation ceremony, just quickly a word on Mbappe getting a hat-trick for the first time, 56 years in a World Cup final?
It is special. He loses the game, but I mean, what can you say? He dragged France
After the Copa America, Semra, but now it's even more so, right? The trophy cabinet, like you said, is well and truly complete.
He's got a full house now. It was the one thing that was missing. It was one thing that he wanted to make sure that he got his hands on before he decided to pull time on his career, which may or may not be around the corner. But at least with Argentina, he finally did it. We won't be able to see him in another World Cup. He already said this was going to be the last game that he ever plays. He's also broken the record by doing so, by scoring all different types of goals at 35 years old. He's also now made the most appearances at a World Cup than anybody else in the history of the game. It's just phenomenal to see him now celebrating on the pitch with his kids. I'm sure they gave him so much inspiration as well too.
I think it's for him, it's like to be peace with Argentinian people. And about all the criticism of him, that say, oh, he won other things, but not the World Cup. And now
but that's also a really good point, because Maradona was always loved, he was always revered, he was always backed by the Argentinians.
Yeah.
But because Messi spent most of his time growing up in Barcelona, when he left when he was 14 years old, he never really had that kind of connection or relationship with the Argentinian people.
I think, but this World Cup for me is like the connection of him especially with the Argentinian people and the Argentinian people with him, because we see the way the team plays, they embrace him. Seems like they play for him and protect him in all the circumstances, and he gave something back. He gave a lot of things back to them. Those, the passing, the magic, he provides everything. I think it's a peace game for him in his mind. Let's say, okay, now I can relax.
This is special, right? Little Messi's growing up to see, obviously maybe 20 years down the line, they'll be talking about this moment at the Lusail Stadium. But Wayne, I'm just thinking, some PSG fans will be happy, right? Eventually Mbappe and Messi meet again in January, after Christmas is done, all these celebrations are well behind, and they meet again and then try to take their club to a league title, a Champions League title perhaps?
Yeah, I think, it's something which will be tough for Mbappe to understand, that you score a hat-trick in the World Cup final and you come out on the losing side. But I think they can both go back to PSG as really proud of the tournament they've had. Obviously both scored a lot of goals. There's no shame in finishing runners-up in the World Cup. And I think for Lionel Messi it's a fitting moment for him to go and win the World Cup, because, as Gilberto said, it's a huge honour, but for him to get that connection. I think before Maradona, there was no one like Maradona. But then when Maradona come along, he was the one they all looked at. So when Lionel Messi come along after Maradona, they wanted the same, and the different characters. Obviously Maradona was flamboyant and a bit crazy at times. Where Messi is, you can see, he's more of a very, very much a family guy and a humble guy, and with different characters. And I think what Messi's done through his football throughout the last 20 years.
Give credit to the coach, and in the all-round team, you look at the goalkeeper. That save towards the end is just as important as the goals anyone else provided. But I think the way everyone was playing with Messi and for Messi, I think that's what's really taken Argentina forwards, and there are a lot of happy people in lots of different parts of India now celebrating this as well. So I think it's a great final.
Roberto, just wondering what the celebrations look like after you win a World Cup, right? Go to the dressing room. Well, what's the first thing that you guys do? Maybe you can pass on some notes, it's still time.
I think on the field, the first time that I did.
ഇത് രസമില്ല ഇങ്ങനെ
what was, by any standard, a truly dramatic final. The final, though, which for drama and excitement has just been eclipsed. 36 years on. How those medals have been earned today. World Cup of so many great moments. Against Germany, those 2 stoppage time goals for Iran against Wales, and so many more.
Please welcome FIFA President Gianni Infantino, accompanied by dignitaries and His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani.
His Highness the Emir and the President of FIFA, Gianni Infantino. The President of France, Emmanuel Macron, who we saw consoling. World Cup certainly, which has embraced the whole world. The World Cup of Morocco, of Wahbi Khazri's Tunisian winner against France. Ayo Tanaka is winner. Vincent Aboubakar's winner for Cameroon against Brazil. Wang Hee-chan's winner for the Korean Republic against Portugal. There's been so much, and then after all of that, there was this final.
This evening's final.
سيسلم فيفا ميدالية تذكارية لحكام مباراتها الرمزية التي أعداؤه لنهائي بطولة كأس العالم فيفا قطر 2022.
Well, Gilles Gignac was the first Pole ever to referee a World Cup final, and that is not a game he will forget in a hurry, Alan.
No, it'll live with him forever in the way that
He oversaw plenty more. In the company of his compatriots Pavel Sokolnitsky and Thomas Hiskiewicz, the assistant referees, the American fourth official Ismail Elfat, who actually was the referee who shook hands and smiled as he sent off Vincent Aboubacar in the moments after he scored that winner for Cameroon against Brazil. That's the Nesbitt of the US.
FIFA will now honor the young player of the tournament.
So the individual awards, the first of which is the young and Argentine. Enzo Fernandez has tweeted, he scored a wonderful goal against Mexico, but he contributed on so much more than that.
Well, he did. He's one of those young players that naturally takes on responsibility. He wants the ball. And to be like that on the highest of stages says something about his character. 21 years old, he's only going to get better. Absolute star.
May not be the last of these he plays in. A team full of fancy players. He offered depth, he offered a call. And it is little surprise to learn that the goalkeeper of the tournament is Emiliano Martinez. Following in the footsteps of Casillas and Neuer and Courtois. 2 big penalty saves against the Netherlands, and another one here in the final shootout, and so much more besides. Here's a character keeper.
Well, you mentioned the word character, yeah, and I think his temperament, personality suited the occasion. He thrived on it. He loved it. He loves trying to get into the minds of the penalty takers. Sometimes he can overstep the mark. The ref has to just push him back a little bit. But he did the job for his country without question.
closer, Muller, James Rodriguez and Harry Kane. Kylian Mbappe. This was to be the final of Messi or Mbappe. It turns out to have been the final of them both. He scored a hat-trick, he finished with 8 goals. And whilst it's not the price he most craved, it is one of which he should be enormously proud.
When he volleyed home that equaliser to make it 2-2. That's a moment.
He's not yet 24 years old.
Hindi
He
kaya.
has a World Cup 2014, Modric and Messi again. And this time he wants it. He was beautiful. He was the point of difference. He has always been the point of difference. Unparalleled. And maybe today there will, of course, always be those who argue, always be those who debate. And the debate can rage on if you like. But as he falls in love with the object in the world that his heart most desired, it is hard to escape the supposition that he has rendered himself to no time.
The whole of Argentina was looking towards him to be the man, to make the difference, to lift the trophy, and that kind of pressure. We wondered how he'd handle it, but he absolutely loved it, took it on board and produced some of the best moments of his career.
I shall never forget it. Here is a photograph for a day, for a moment, for an age. Because in a sense, perhaps it embodies the handing over of a baton. Messi in the same photo as Mbappe. 10 days from now, they may play together for Paris Saint-Germain against Strasbourg in Ligue 1.
Silverelle.
In a football match that nobody who witnessed it will ever forget. Some of them, Maurice, Varane, Deschamps, of course, know how it is to win this thing. Others, the younger ones, will have to come back another time and try again. This time, the final hurdle, though they climbed it from a position seemingly irretrievable on a couple of occasions, the final hurdle was just too high.
Yeah. And you mentioned younger ones. There are a lot of younger ones, obviously headed up by Mbappe, but I think Dembele, Chouameni, so much talent. The Spence side is not going to go away anytime soon.
A record under Deschamps is phenomenal, not just in the World Cup, but at continental level too. It is remarkable to reflect that they weren't even a part of the World Cup in 1990 and 1994, but as a nation, what they have become. They have become an example nation, and they are decorated by their president. Giroud was somewhat of the players of the tournament, and on the big day, he couldn't even make it until half-time. We'll never know quite how fit the French were or are. I say we'll never know, perhaps we will learn in the minutes and hours that lie ahead. It was so pale, for so spirit and the energy to turn the final from a procession into one of the most engaging contests we have ever seen. And he was the reason why. He was the principal reason why. Argentina, not how you start, but how you finish. The team that lost first up as Saudi Arabia shocked the world, but defined by the mesmeric Messi, cushioned by a collective spirit within which that diamond could comfortably sit and shine. They insisted that this time it should be theirs. And never forget that it was that man wearing 4, improbably, who had the final touch, the final say.
A lot of players here that haven't had too many minutes on the pitch, but you got the feeling with Argentina. We saw some scenes in the dressing room. They had a common purpose. They all stayed together. They surfed a wave of emotion, really, didn't they, in this tournament? And that wave got bigger and bigger, turned into a tidal wave in the end. And it was all for, it was all, or most of it was for one man, Messi.
Alvarez, the semi-final, and Angel Di Maria was ready for the final, and how he impacted.
Player number 13, Cristiano Romero. Player number 14, Ezequiel Palacios. Player number 15, Angel Correa. Player number 16, Thiago Almada. Player number 17, Alejandro Gomez.
On the knockout stage, others have filled his berth in midfield.
Player number 19.
Rodriguez had an important role to play, remember, against Mexico in the group stage in front of the back four. What a tournament for McAllister.
Yes.
Out of an unfashionable club in England.
Right. Yeah, I remember his first few games for Brighton. And it took him a little while to acclimatise to the Premier League, as he does most, but oh, what a talent, 23 years old. Playing a gem now.
Tabana came on to take his penalty. Lautaro Martinez might have won it before we reached penalties. Little matter now. The tournament that Emi Martinez has had is the stuff of dreams.
Player number 25, Lisandro Martinez. Player number 26, Nahuel Molina. The head coach of Argentina,
We have become not unused to his emotion, and how entitled to emotion he now is. Just occasionally, sport is perfect. In the footsteps of Passarella, out of the shadow of Maradona, Lionel Messi, a man who more ornately than any other has decorated our beautiful game, to receive from that game now its most beautiful decoration. Messi's meant-to-be moment, his fulfillment, his completion. And he is robed in gold. After one of the truly great finals of all time, he waits. The trophy is passed into the hands of genius. And in 2022, the world champions are Argentina.
And just like that, after 6,029 days since he made his World Cup debut at the Weltins Arena, the Schalke home stadium, he manages to hold aloft the trophy that's dearest to him. 7 Ballon d'Ors, so many titles, so many domestic wins, but nothing is bigger than this. To do it in front of your fans, your trophy. Scenes at the Lusail Stadium. It is this place where they lost to Saudi Arabia in their first game, and then people wondered what could happen now. And this is how it's turned out. Very fabulous scenes. Once again, just completes the picture, completes the legacy.
I was able to check off every single thing in the bucket.
Just nice barbecue now when he's back. Fantastic, everyone is waiting for him to celebrate. It'll be a big party all over Argentina. I think they deserve for what they have done in the whole competition. I was just talking to Wayne here. If I was on a place with Messi tonight, after the whole celebration, when I go back to the hotel, I'll say, listen, the